Welcome to Revenge Return, where love is never simple, revenge is never accidental, and every story unfolds with secrets, betrayal, and emotional twists you won't see coming. This is where the story begins. I was at my desk when my phone buzzed. A text from Mom. "Your sister is helping the family. Stop being selfish." I stared at the screen, confusion giving way to cold certainty. This wasn't a request for help. This was an announcement of something already done. I opened my property management software. The tenant portal for 1847 Oakmont Boulevard showed normal activity. Rent paid on time, maintenance requests handled, lease renewal scheduled for next month. Nothing unusual. Then I checked my email. Buried in promotional messages was an alert from the county assessor's office. Property listing notification 1847 Oakmont Boulevard. My fingers went cold on the keyboard. I called the assessor's office. The clerk was professional, efficient. "Yes, ma'am. A listing was uploaded to MLS this morning at 9:47 a.m. Our automated system cross-references all listings with deed records. When ownership didn't match the listing agent's authorization, the system flagged it. The listing was suspended at 10:52 a.m. The broker of record has been notified." Who was the listing agent? Jessica Hartman with Prestige Realty Group. I didn't know Jessica Hartman, but I knew who hired her. I pulled the county records myself. Deed recorded 8 years ago. Sole owner. My name. Purchase price, $340,000. Current assessed value, $625,000. Not a single co-owner. Not a single lien except my mortgage, which I'd refinanced last year at 2.8%. My tenant paid $3,450 monthly. The property had appreciated $285,000 while generating $332,400 in rental income over 8 years. I had bought it the week after Dad told me, "Real estate isn't for people like you. You'll get taken advantage of by every contractor and tenant." He'd said it in his office, surrounded by his own commercial property photos, buildings he'd inherited, not built. That sentence had lodged in my chest like a splinter. Not rage. Clarity. I would rely on no one. The gambler's fallacy had governed my 20s. I kept feeding the slot machine of family approval, convinced the jackpot was mathematically inevitable. One more success. One more year of perfect behavior. Surely this would be enough. But their narrative was more important than my reality. They needed me to fail so their worldview could survive intact. I opened my files. 8 years of documentation. Every family gathering where Vanessa had dismissed my little rental property. Every holiday where Mom said, "Find a good husband, that's a woman's real security." Every birthday dinner where Dad changed the subject when I mentioned my investment portfolio. The ghost ledger sat in my desk drawer. I'd started it 2 years ago when my therapist suggested tracking emotional costs the way I tracked financial ones. The spreadsheet was titled exactly that, the ghost ledger. Anniversary missed because Vanessa had a styling emergency. Cost equals memory, never recoverable. Promotion to senior property manager called nice, while Vanessa's new handbag got 40 minutes of analysis. Cost equals self-esteem compounding daily. Weekend spent moving Dad's storage unit while he watched football. Cost equals 2 days of life, 48 hours gone forever. Years as unpaid financial advisor to Mom who ignored every suggestion. Cost equals professional credibility, self-trust erosion. Being excluded from successful family photo at cousin's wedding. Cost equals belonging, the kind that leaves permanent space in family albums. The ledger ran 14 pages. Each line item documented with dates, direct quotes, witnesses present. Not for revenge. For reference. So I'd remember why boundaries weren't cruelty, they were survival. I called my attorney Marcus Chin. We'd worked together on 3 property acquisitions and 1 tenant dispute. He knew my portfolio. He knew my family dynamics because I'd needed his advice before when Dad tried to claim he'd co-signed my first mortgage. He hadn't. "Marcus, my sister just listed my property without authorization." Silence. Then, "The Oakmont property?" "Yes. I'll file a cease and desist within the hour. I'll also need to report this to the State Real Estate Commission. This isn't a family disagreement. This is unauthorized representation and potential fraud." His voice shifted from friend to attorney. "How many people know you're the sole owner?" Everyone. It's not a secret. It's just inconvenient for their narrative. Document everything. Every text. Every email. Every conversation from this point forward. I spent the afternoon organizing evidence. The original deed. The mortgage documents showing my name only, my income qualification, my down payment from my savings account. The property tax bills, 8 years of them paid quarterly from my account. The insurance policies. The tenant lease agreements I'd signed. The 1099 forms reporting rental income under my social security number. At 4:17 p.m. my phone rang. Unknown number. Is this Ms. Rebecca Torres? Yes. This is Martin Webb, broker of record at Prestige Realty Group. I'm calling about a listing that was submitted this morning by one of my agents regarding property at 1847 Oakmont Boulevard. I'm aware of the listing, Mr. Webb. I'm also aware I never authorized it. I'm the sole owner of that property. Pause. Papers rustling. The agent who submitted the listing, Jessica Hartman, was hired this morning by a Vanessa Torres. Claimed to be the property owner's sister and co-owner. Signed an exclusive right to sell agreement. Ms. Hartman performed her due diligence by requesting authorization documents, but the MLS automated system flagged the ownership mismatch before the listing went active to the public. What happens now? The listing is permanently suspended. I've initiated a formal investigation. If your sister fraudulently represented ownership, Ms. Hartman's license is at risk for inadequate verification, and your sister could face charges for fraud and unauthorized practice of real estate. His voice was tight, professional, angry. I've been a broker for 22 years. This is the kind of case the Real Estate Commission uses as a teaching example of what not to do. I'll be filing a formal complaint with the State Commission. I expect you will. You should also know, Ms. Hartman already deposited a personal marketing fee of $2,400 that your sister paid her to prioritize the listing. That money will need to be returned, and the transaction raises additional questions about unlicensed real estate activity. I thanked him and hung up. Then I called Marcus back. The broker just called. Vanessa paid the agent $2,400 upfront and signed an exclusive right to sell agreement. That's textbook unauthorized practice of real estate. She held herself out as having authority to sell property she doesn't own, collected money in furtherance of that fraud, and induced a licensed agent to participate. Marcus's keyboard clicked. I'm drafting the complaint now. The State Commission takes this seriously. It undermines the entire licensing system. What's the timeline? Complaint filed today. Commission opens investigation within 10 business days. They'll interview the broker, the agent, and request all documentation. If they find wrongdoing, and they will, they'll issue a formal reprimand, possible suspension, and refer criminal charges to the district attorney if warranted. And Vanessa? She'll face civil liability for the money she took, potential fraud charges, and your sister doesn't have a real estate license to lose, which means the criminal exposure is more direct. That evening my phone exploded. Texts from Mom. How could you do this to your sister? She was trying to help the family. You're tearing us apart over money. Texts from Dad. I'm disappointed in you. Family is supposed to support each other. This is why you're still alone. Texts from Vanessa. You're going to ruin my reputation over nothing. I was going to give you your share. This is so typical of you. I didn't respond. Marcus had advised documentation, not engagement. Instead I called my tenant. Professional courtesy. Hi James. This is Rebecca Torres. I wanted to give you a heads up. There was an unauthorized listing attempt on your rental property today. It's been resolved. Your lease is secure. Nothing changes for you. I saw it. James sounded amused. I got an alert from Zillow that my building was for sale. Called my lawyer just to be safe. He verified you're still the owner. Honestly, Ms. Torres, after 3 years of you fixing things within 24 hours and never raising my rent unfairly, I wasn't worried. But thanks for calling. We hung up. That was the cost of good property management. Trust. Consistency. Competence. Things my family had never bothered to build with me. The State Real Estate Commission opened their investigation 6 days later. I received a call from investigator Sarah Chin. He was thorough. She requested copies of all deeds, all communications, all financial records. She interviewed Martin Webb. She interviewed Jessica Hartman. She interviewed Vanessa. Ms. Hartman's testimony was illuminating, Sarah told me in our follow-up call. Your sister told her she was the co-owner and you were difficult about paperwork. Ms. Hartman requested proof of ownership. Your sister showed her a deed, but it was a forged document with both your names listed as co-owners. The forgery was crude. Wrong font. Wrong county seal. The ink analysis shows it was created on a home printer within the past week. My stomach dropped. Not surprise. Confirmation. Ms. Hartman is facing a formal reprimand and mandatory ethics training for inadequate document verification. She should have checked county records directly, not relied on provided documents. But your sister. Sarah paused. Your sister engaged in fraud, forgery, and unauthorized practice of real estate. I'm referring this to the district attorney's office today. The consequences cascaded like dominoes, each one a small collapse. Week 1. District attorney filed charges. Forgery in the second degree. Fraud. Attempted theft by deception. Week 3. Vanessa hired a defense attorney. Cost $15,000 retainer. Her savings account, drained. Week 5. Jessica Hartman's license suspended for 90 days. Her broker terminated her employment. Her real estate career effectively over. Week 7. Vanessa pled no contest to avoid trial. Sentenced to 2 years probation, 200 hours community service, $8,400 in restitution, my legal fees plus the agent's lost commission, and permanent prohibition from engaging in any real estate activity in the state. Week 9. Civil court. I sued for damages, emotional distress, and the cost of enhanced property security systems. Judgment. $34,600 plus ongoing monitoring costs. My parents didn't attend any hearings. They sent one text after the sentencing, "You've destroyed your sister's life over pride." I blocked their numbers. 6 months later I'm sitting in my home office. The one I bought with proceeds from property number 2. A commercial space downtown that I acquired while Dad was explaining why women shouldn't take business risks. The walls are cream, the desk is walnut, the window overlooks a city I've invested in building. 1847 Oakmont Boulevard has a new tenant. James moved to Seattle for work, gave me 3 months' notice, helped show the property. The new tenant pays $3,850. Market rate increased while maintaining competitive pricing. The lease is secure. The property management is professional. The boundaries are absolute. I opened my investment portfolio this morning. 12 properties now. Residential, commercial, mixed use. Combined value, $8.4 million. Combined equity, $2.1 million. Monthly cash flow, $28,400 after all expenses. Vanessa wanted to share rental income from one property I'd built while she mocked my little real estate game for 8 years. She calculated her commission, $18,600. She hired an agent, forged documents, and set the dominoes falling. The MLS automated verification system caught it in 65 minutes. Technology is neutral. Ownership records don't negotiate. Systems don't care about family narratives. My father's living room. 8 years ago. His voice, "Real estate isn't for people like you." That was when I understood. I would rely on no one. I would build something they couldn't take, couldn't diminish, couldn't rewrite. Revenge wasn't rage. It was surviving their dismissal so well they were forced to confront their own failure. The restraining order is permanent. The boundaries are absolute. The portfolio continues growing. Property 13 closes escrow next month. A historic building downtown, the one Dad said was too risky for amateurs. There is no place for them in my world anymore. The account is closed. The balance is zero. And from the 12 fortresses I fought to protect, my future begins now.